Welcome to the Blame It on the Boogie podcast. We just three average guys just here talk a little bit about sports. We, as always, with me tonight is Dorian, the Almighty Brown, the Wonder Mouse from Richmond, California. We got Antoine, D-O-O-Z-E Williams from Florissant, Missouri. And of course, me, Rod D, right here in the Detroit, Michigan. But we all from the Boogie. Y'all know the song. Y'all like it too. You be grooving to it. We want to welcome you to episode number 19. That's a 10 and a 9. Keyshawn Johnson.
Lance Allworth.
Okay, whoever.
Yeah.
Hey, he's a Hall of Fame. Wide receiver.
Whoever the famous number 19s are, that's who we are.
Minnesota, Sam Cassell.
Sam Cassell did wear 19. Shout out to Sam. He won a championship.
Hopefully he can get a coaching job sometime soon.
He won 3 actually.
He deserved it. As always, we're going to start it off with a little recap from none other than the Wonder Mouse himself. Go ahead, hit us with a D.
Oh, I'm going to beat you with a water hose. You're calling me the Wonder Mouse. All right. We talked about Denver winning the NBA championship. Well, in the NBA, I should say, we talked about Denver hoisting the trophy. We talked about Ja's suspension. We talked about Jack Jones being arrested and his hypocrisy in reference to John Morant. We talked about Tyreek Hill being investigated for assault. That was right at the time that Rodney caught that Charlie horse. We talked about Bob Huggins.
45 minutes.
Bob Huggins calling it quits, or rather being asked to leave, and deservedly so. We talked about the College World Series, and at the time, the finals hadn't started yet, but we'll get back into that a little bit more today. We talked about my Cincinnati Reds being in first place for the first time since 2012. Hopefully they can sustain it. They were on a 12-game winning streak. Then they went on a 3-game losing streak. But we did win that series out there last weekend with Baltimore. We talked about the Cubs and the Cardinals series in London, and the Cardinals continuing to suck.
We
talked about the NBA draft.
That picture.
We talked about the NBA draft, and lastly, not necessarily in a particular order, but this kind of segues into something else. We talked about the latest trades and free agent moves, and I'm quite sure we'll definitely get into more of that today as free agency opened. So
today at 6:00, we're gonna get into that. There's a lot of stuff going down.
It's going down,
but we're going to jump right into...
Down, big fella, down.
We're going to jump right into this, man. We're going to start off with something that we don't talk a lot about, and that's boxing. Dorian brought up an interesting observation, which I didn't know, and it kind of took me back. But now I realize why a lot of the fights happen the way they do. Dorian, tell us about this 3% that's going on with boxing.
All right, so I was watching a podcast with Gilly the Kid and his cousin Wallow. And they had Earl Spence on there. And so they were asking him about, the belts and so on and so forth. And he made the comment that it cost them 3% to possess the belts. So if you're the undisputed champion and you wear all 3 belts, you have to give up basically 9%, 10% of your bag.
I think I saw that as well.
Belts into the ring. I had no idea And I was like, whoa, that blew my mind. And he said, yeah, that's why a lot of cats, once they win all 3 of the belts, they vacate them and usually move up or something. And I was like, wow, I had no idea. Because I remember, again, being a kid and, Aaron Pryor being from Cincinnati, my dad's boy. I remember holding the green one. I don't know if that's the WBA or the WBC. Whichever one that Aaron had when he beat Alexis Arguello. I remember holding that belt and saying, oh, man, this thing is heavy. But I didn't realize that it was costing him money. Have that's nuts.
So they, like you said, if you're undisputed, you got to give up 9% of your purse just to fight as the undisputed champ. That's kind of messed up. I wouldn't want the belt either. I want the victory, but I don't want the belt. You ain't got to give me the belt.
Right.
That's like paying another agent.
Exactly. You keep the belt.
You can keep the belt. I don't need that. We can fight.
Yeah. Everybody saw I won.
Yeah, y'all know I won. You know I'm the best pound for pound. I'd rather have pound for pound championship.
I mean, and think about it. They got the WBA, the WBO, the WBC, the IBF. That's 4 right there. And then, it's a good thing they ain't have to do that in WWE when you could be the Intercontinental Champion and the World, and the World Champion and the pay-per-view champion. They'd all been broke.
Man.
But I'm assuming that's a way for them to get revenue for themselves. For the different organizations to get revenue for themselves. But still at the same time, you're not gonna make all your money just off the champion. You better get some money off these other folks that's fighting.
You spread this around a little bit.
Spread that wealth around
spread that love.
Right. And and I admittedly, I didn't, do, too much more research into it. I just, kind of took his word for it from when he said it. And again, it was a little quick blurb, Please make sure y'all watching our quick blurbs, by the way, all y'all out there. Hit that subscribe button, right? So anyway, so I didn't really do too much more research into it, but I just found that very interesting because it's one of those things. Okay, well, why would he lie about that?
Yeah,
and I wasn't necessarily aware of the context of the whole conversation, but that was just deep, And Wallow basically said the same thing I did. What?
Yeah.
What you mean?
Man, taking away somebody's money, man. That's like saying you win the NBA MVP, you got to pay the NBA 3% because not your champ.
To have a trophy.
To have a trophy,
it costs you 3%.
In the words of Diana Ross, I don't want it.
No, you need it.
If it's a charge for this, I don't want it.
I don't want it. I'm good. Like I said, I'll be the people's champ, man. Y'all know I'm the best.
Right.
Y'all know I'm the best. Also this week, we had a couple of things that happened. All in NHL. We had the NHL awards that were given out, and we also had the NHL draft for a couple of days this week. Dorian has taken a keen interest in NHL activities right now.
I am saying
give us our weekly NHL
update.
Knowledge.
I am staying true to my word and keeping up with the NHL. So I watched the NHL award. Well, let me take that back. I did not watch the NHL awards because I hate award shows. However, I did keep track of, who won certain awards. It's still nice to know, who the most valuable player is, who they consider the best. Again, that's how, for me, learning the game, that's how you kind of find out a little bit more about the game. So anyway, the Hart Memorial Trophy, which is basically the most valuable player trophy, went to Connor McDavid of the Edmonton Oilers. The James Norris Memorial Trophy to the best defenseman went to Erik Karlsson from San Jose Sharks. The Vezina Trophy for the best goaltender went to Linus Ullmark from the Boston Bruins. The Ted Lindsay Award for the most outstanding player, which I find that interesting. They have most outstanding and most valuable. Again, went to Connor McDavid of the Edmonton Oilers. The Calder Memorial Trophy for Rookie of the Year went to Matt Beniers from the Seattle Kraken. Release the Kraken. The Jack Adams Award, which is for the Coach of the Year, went to Jim Montgomery. And the Selke Trophy for the best defensive forward went to Patrice Bergeron. The Lady Byng Trophy for the most gentlemanly player. I find that a very, very interesting award in hockey. All these guys running around here with no teeth, but you talking about you're the most gentlemanly one of all. That went to
It's kind of hard to turn the other cheek when you only got like 3 teeth in your mouth.
Right.
You want to hold on to them.
That went to Anze Kopitar from the LA Kings. And that really basically about sums it up. But the other thing, the NFL draft, do y'all want to move to something else?
NHL.
Okay. The draft. I don't know any of the players in the NHL draft. Okay.
At all.
And, you know, for many of them who are European players and so on and so forth, I don't want to butcher anybody's name. All right. But I did watch the draft. Just to see, I know Connor Bedard went number 1 to Chicago. Right. But what brings me to this topic is they were talking to what's his first name? Buchagras on ESPN.
John Buchagras.
John Buchagras. So they was talking to him and they were asking him which of these players did they really think were going to come contribute now? You know, who was going to, and he started talking about how, you know, many of them, they said Connor Bedard is going to come in and just be the bomb. They said, but the other ones, it may take them 3 to 4 years to develop. So they wouldn't be ready until they were 22, 23. And I thought that was very interesting. I said, wait a minute. When you think about the NBA or the NFL and you draft these guys, they expect these young dudes to come in and be the franchise. But in the NHL, they don't do that. And I was like, And then several of the players weren't like coming directly to the pros. They were still getting drafted and going to college. And then, or getting drafted and then going to the European League. So I was like, wait a minute, this is really weird. What's going on here? How does this work? Right. So I started checking out how the draft works. So first of all, you can only be drafted if you are between the ages of 18 to 20. If you are older than 20 years old, you cannot be drafted. You immediately, if you are 21 years old, if you're older than 20, you are a free agent. That's how you get into the league, is being a free agent. So they go and they play in, many of these minor leagues. What is it? Let me find them. They got a bunch of names for them. Like where do all these players come from? But it's like the WHL, okay, the Canadian Hockey League, the CHL, the Western Hockey League, the Ontario Hockey League, all these other junior leagues that they play in. And then they come into the NHL. And I thought that was really, really, really interesting about the fact that they really drafting these cats knowing that many of them are not going to come and play.
So Rodney couldn't come play.
No. No. So D, you got a question?
Yeah.
So you saying that once they turn 21, they become free agents. So you sign with any team.
They can sign with any team. They can sign with a team, the team of their choice.
So
at 21.
I'm just curious. Why would I want to be drafted and be restricted to confined to the team that drafted me when I can wait till I'm 21 and then I'll be a free agent and then I can sign wherever I want to sign? That's some information we got to figure out, because these knowledge is not. I've extended his knowledge.
Well, what I'm saying is I don't get it. You know what I mean? It really only this is something that really essentially only benefits the teams. It's almost it reminds me of the old baseball rules, the old reserve clauses or whatever. That essentially now what a lot of players do is they'll get drafted and then they won't come play for the team. They won't sign.
Okay.
Right. So then they may go play in the juniors or something. They'll get drafted and won't sign, and then they'll play in those other little leagues or go to college and stay for 3 years. And then since they didn't sign, then they can then sign with a team as a free agent.
Okay.
So you see that happen. That's what they were saying. You see that happen a lot too. But yeah, that was real. I didn't understand it. That was real crazy that you drafting somebody as a first round pick that you know is not going to come in and play, that you know is not going to come in and contribute. As a matter of fact, they're not going to be anywhere near your team. So literally, the only person that Bucci was saying was going to, because again, that's where I'm getting a lot of my stuff from, is ESPN. But the only dude that he said was going to come in and play immediately was the dude that was in the number 1 pick. The rest of them, they just draft and hope they get better. That was nuts to me. So yeah.
That's a little odd, but
it's totally different than the way that I thought. It's totally because I'm thinking the same way like the NBA draft or something like that. But it's completely different. It's definitely more like baseball.
Yeah, that's more baseball, where they sign, they draft you, and they know you're not going to be in the majors for 3-4 years or what have you.
It's a whole different logic.
So right. I like the NBA draft better. Bring my players over, let them play.
Right.
Let them play. Another thing we're going to talk about that happens this week was college baseball. We had the College Baseball World Series, D. Last week we talked about it. Say again?
I said everything is D.
D, you had it. D had it.
This stuff you was talking about, man. I got to bring it out because you was talking about it. Hey, we all watch college baseball. We should.
Yeah, we did. So last week, when we did our show, there was a game on, college baseball game on. At that time, it was LSU against Florida, and Florida won. Was it extras?
Yeah, it went in the extras.
Yeah. Florida did win that game. Their game won in extras and was looking good. They were looking like world beaters. But no. It was LSU that won the first game. I'm sorry.
LSU won game 1. Yeah.
LSU won the first game. And then in game 2, D, what happened in game 2?
Man, in game 2, Florida beat the brakes off LSU like 24 to 4. Yeah, 24-4 or something. Oh man, dog, I haven't seen them beat like that since I think I was 13.
Everything was going over the fence, man. They was smacking left and right. But then,
what happened in game 3?
In game 3, LSU gave the beatdown of their life. I think what was it, 17-2 or some junk?
18
to 4.
18 to 4. It was horrible. So they just lost 24-4, and they came back and won 18-4 to win the championship. So congrats to LSU for winning College Baseball World Series. It was an exciting series, especially the last 2 games, because they were smacking the ball all over.
There was a lot of runs scored. I don't know how exciting it was.
Scored, man. Well, it depends on the perspective. Game 2 was a wonderful game for Florida. The Florida fans were all into it. They just knew they was going to win game 3. But LSU was not to be denied. It's like, okay, y'all beat us like that? Take this one.
Right.
And they got the last laugh. I'm sorry, D. I'm putting my stuff in the wrong order. I meant to tell to you about Tennessee State when we were talking about hockey.
Oh, yeah.
You put that in the text, man. We got to talk about it.
Tennessee State is the first historically Black college and university, HBCU, to field a hockey team. That is going to be interesting. I just keep thinking about Cedric the Entertainer. To my black people play hockey. He said it's gonna be a black player down there without a stick. They let you fight in hockey. Oh, so anyway, what they'll let you fight in college hockey. But anyway, yeah. So that's I'm definitely going to be following Tennessee State's NHL hockey team.
NCAA hockey team.
Oh, what did I say? NHL?
Yeah, but it's all good. It's all good. We all make
My
mistakes.
That's all right. Black people playing hockey. That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Brother,
congrats to Tennessee State for fielding the first HBCU hockey team. You do have three. If you don't have nothing else, you got three fans right here. Just want to watch out.
Right.
See what you do.
Buy a Tennessee State sweater.
Just want to watch and see what you do. All right. Now we're gonna get into a little financial situations here.
Windfalls.
Now I know ain't no windfall. Well, it depends on how you look at it. Some got windfall, some didn't. Some just got a thank you and here's the door. But over at the Worldwide Leader, they're going through some changes. Let's just say they had another round of layoffs, and today there were some big names that were let go. Names like Keyshawn Johnson and Susie Colbert and Jeff Van Gundy and Jalen Rose, man. Jalen Rose.
Max Kellerman.
The one that's hurt, Max Kellerman. But the one that's hurting me the most, because I love his insight, is Todd McShay. That is just unbelievable to me. So, fellas.
Also, Neil Everett did his last broadcast the other day. And you told me, you was the one that told me Stan Barrett, frat, they all, Stan Barrett, Jay Harris.
You can't forget Fonzo Ellis now. LaFonso Ellis.
Oh, they let Fonzo go too?
Yeah, he's on the list too.
What?
Yep.
No.
Looking right at it. Yeah.
Fon, shout out E19.
And Fonz did a really, really good job on
on college basketball today.
College basketball, he did a great job.
Oh man, definitely shout out to Fonz. From even though you went to Lincoln, we still give you a shout.
We don't hold it against you.
Right, we'll hold it against you. You still from the boogie.
Kind of, but not all the way.
Yeah. you still from the boogie. But I thought he did a real good job. I thought him and Seth Greenberg worked really well together. I always thought he gave great analysis. He was real good. I always thought he was really good. So, but I think that because of that, I think he'll be able to find another job.
Oh yeah, he'll definitely land on his feet.
He'll definitely land somewhere. Even if it's with the Notre Dame network or the Big East network or something that one of those kind of little things. But man, no, that's crazy. Not Fonz. Oh man.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. That was a shocker right there, dudes.
Yeah, I saw that one earlier, and I see it here now.
I see they let go of Jason Fitz too.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
So something's definitely going on there.
What's the brother name? Oh wow. His partner. His
No, you thinking about you're talking about Douglas.
Yeah.
Harry Douglas.
Who's gonna be with Harry now?
I don't know. Unless they gonna let Harry go too. Maybe we haven't heard about it.
Man,
it don't sound like they finished. It doesn't sound like they finished, or that the entire list has come out yet.
But they're letting go a lot of their top, longest tenured talent and highest paid talent.
Wow.
Right.
Some of them contracts expired and they're not going to renew the contracts, but others they're just paying them to go away. So it's a bad thing going on right now.
Yeah, and I was reading on CNN how they said Disney made a profit last year.
Yeah.
So
they're not losing money. They just want to make more money.
Not because they're losing money.
Yeah, they just want to make more money.
That's what it's about. It's all about making more money. No matter what, can I make more money?
Yeah,
it's greedy, unfortunately.
They're getting rid of KJM. I love KJM, man. I watch it every morning. But they're getting rid of it.
It's too early for me.
That's good. It's right.
I watch it on I pull it up on YouTube. So
yeah, it's right at my time. So they're getting rid of KJM. I have no idea. They're gonna replace it with somebody.
So they keeping Jay
just
Will.
Hired. Say it again.
I said they keeping Jay Will in. That's what it sounds like.
Well, his contract was expiring. The thing I read, his contract was expiring also, but they were offering him another contract. So I don't know if he accepted it or what the case is, but they wanted to keep him on for the NBA. He may be on the NBA today, replacing Jalen Rose.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows, man? It's just
I wonder why I wonder why Jalen.
I don't know, because Jalen was good.
Not Perk.
But yeah.
I wonder what that does with Jacoby.
Is it about Perk, not Perk?
Well, I mean, I guess my point is that if you keep getting rid of Jalen, but I mean, well, again, maybe we haven't heard the last of it or whatever. But to me, who are you replacing him with? Again, okay, so if you replace him with Jay Will, that's great because I love Jay Will. You know, the dude, he's a dookie, but plus he's good, right? But I think that you getting rid of Jalen, but you keeping lesser talent because you know Perk is not as good. Perk is nowhere near as good as Jalen. I love RJ, but RJ is not as good as Jalen. You know, and that's why Jalen has always been out there with the legends like Will Bond and Stephen A. or whatever. They work real well together. I think Jay Will fit well into that spot. But again, I think that you kept kind of the lesser talent. But like as you said, it's like a NFL or NBA. It's like a salary dump, right?
That's all it is.
They're getting rid of them. You hate to see anybody lose their job. Hopefully, they can all get on their feet and not be a fight.
They'll land on their feet, yeah.
And Susie Colbert, I'm sorry, man. I love Susie Colbert. I've always thought she's always been really, really good.
Yes, she was.
And so I'm really gonna miss her on Monday Night Countdown and all that kind of stuff because she's been really good for years, man. That's
she's been at ESPN for 27 years, man. Right. And they just let her go. But you know, such is life. Such is
Joe
life.
Namath is not gonna like that
at all. Who else you gonna try to kiss?
Y'all wrong for talking about Broadway Joe.
Hey. So anyway, all right. Now we're gonna get into what's gonna be an extended NBA talking points. First thing we're gonna talk about, it was something we were supposed to talk about last week, but I had to go in the injury reserve last week
due to unfortunate circumstances.
Yeah,
beyond our control
on our last week. So this week we're actually going to talk about it.
I mean, me and Dorian. Well, okay, but beyond Dorian's control,
Rodney got a business problem.
Yeah, me and Rodney had problems last week.
We both had little issues last week. Oh, we gonna talk about this week. This week we gonna talk about
dude's had an injury in his lower extremities.
I had
a run for the border.
Yeah.
Dude was running for the border.
And I kept running for the border. I couldn't stop.
Good, bro. Happens to the best of us, bro. Happens to the best of us. Woo. Anyway, last week, 6 man of the year. What was it? 3 times? Was it 3 times? 4 times?
3 times.
Anyway, I know it was 3 times. He was 3 times 6 man of the year. Sweet Lou Williams. Sweet Lou decided to call it quits. He was one of the last. He was one of the last players to be drafted. Well, I'm sorry, to go right from high school straight to the pros. He was one of the last ones to do that. Right after that, they changed the rules. But Lou Williams, who played for several teams and was a very good player, like I said, he won 3 league 6 man of the year awards. So the question that we were talking about is Lou Williams Hall of Fame worthy? And we had some differences of opinion. We're gonna start with you, dude. What do you think about Sweet Lou?
I would say no. I don't believe that Lou's Hall of Fame worthy. I mean, if you're just going on those achievements alone, then maybe yes. But I mean, his teams never were very successful. So that's, mostly what I look at. No.
No.
I'm trying to be objective and think of like another angle to go at it with, but no, I mean, like I said, his teams, they really weren't successful. I think that Atlanta team was pretty good with when they had, what was it, Horford, Joe Johnson, I think it was Mike Bibby. I think Lou was on that team, right? I believe it was.
Mm-hmm. Well, what year? With Atlanta, what was it? He was in Atlanta 2010. He was in Atlanta 2012 to 2014.
Yeah. Those teams are pretty good, but I don't believe they achieved the success that would merit Lou Williams making a Hall of Fame, bid. I mean, it's great that he won Sixth Man of the Year. He scored a lot coming off the bench. He definitely did his job as far as that goes, but looking at the total picture, I don't believe he is Hall of Fame worthy. No.
All right, Dory.
Now, let me say no. But
let me say no.
Oh, now you're gonna say no.
No. This was really my point about the idea of the Hall of Fames in general and Hall of Fame worthiness. Okay. So now Lou Williams he is the all-time leader in points off the bench in NBA history. In addition to being three-time, six-man NBA, NBA six-man of the year. Now, I think that to say that their teams were not successful, it's a whole bunch of players that are in the Hall of Fame who teams weren't necessarily very successful. But I think one of the things that for me, what happens is if we say Lou Williams is not, a Hall of Fame worthy or whatever, then what's the point of having a Sixth Man of the Year award? Why make that then so important if you're not going to reward essentially one of the best six men ever? You have a whole award for the NBA Sixth Man of the Year, but then you say that the guy who's won three of them, because we got cats that were, how many times was Ben Wallace Defensive Player of the Year?
Three. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Was in the Hall of Fame. So he was 3-time Sixth Man of the Year. He has the most points ever in NBA history off the bench, but then you say he's not Hall of Fame worthy.
So
I recant that, and I take that back, and I say yes, Lou Williams for the Hall of Fame.
Oh, you're gonna flip back to yes now, huh?
Yeah. But on the Ben Wallace thing, Ben Wallace, like I say, he was one of the leaders in rebounds. He also was one of the was he block shots? I think he was. He's block shot leader, and he won a championship. So I mean, I think that maybe they looked at all those things, combined. Lou Williams averaged 13 points a game.
He has career 15,000 points.
Yeah, he didn't put too many buckets in.
I think Havlicek only had 17,000. Mm-hmm. He's a Hall of Famer.
How many did Walton have? I think Walton had that many.
Well, Walton had 2,000.
But Walton was college, so yeah, we can't talk about him.
Your point about the Sixth Man of the Year, if you can reward him for being Sixth Man of the Year, then if he has the most points in history as coming off the bench,
he won the award 3 times.
He won it 3 times. That's a good argument. However, I still don't think he's Hall of Fame worthy. To me, he is one of the best players to come off the bench. As evident by his having the most points. However, I still feel that he just didn't do enough. He shot 40%, man. He shot 40% from the field. I can't reward you for shooting 40% from the field. He shot a lot of shots when he got into the game. That's what Lou Williams did. He shot a lot of shots, but he missed more than he should have. Bro, I can't reward you for shooting 40%. I'm sorry. I just can't do it. I can't do it. You know, he might have the stats. He might have the stats.
And in fairness, it's like those 3 years were, you know, those were like his 3 good years.
Exactly. He was averaging 20. He was averaging like what? Let me see. Hold on.
Now the most he ever averaged was 15 points.
I'm
sorry, 18. No, he did average 20. He averaged
he averaged 22.
He averaged 20 like
6, 20, and 18.2.
It was it's like 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
But he still shot 43, 42, 41, and 35 from 3. Those are not good. He just shot a lot. He came in. He was Vinnie Johnson, part 2, 2.0. That's what he was.
Right.
Vinnie Johnson 2.0.
But think of this, for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 year span, he averaged 15 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
And really what pulls his average down is his last year in Atlanta, where he only averaged 6.3, and then in Atlanta the last year he only averaged 10 because he only played 24 games.
And the first year Philly as backup to Iverson.
Right,
but bro, look at the shooting percentages.
So
nothing. He averaged 15 points, shot 38%. Come on, man.
So what you gonna say is if he'd have shot 45%, he could have averaged 18 points a game.
Exactly. And then maybe I say, okay, he might, to me, Jamal Crawford was a better bench player.
We ain't talking about Jamal Crawford. I would agree with you about Jamal Crawford, but we ain't talking about Jamal Crawford. Jamal Crawford, if it comes up that Jamal Crawford is eligible for the Hall of Fame, I'm gonna say the same thing. Yes. And then think about this. It's the Hall of Fame. So when you start talking about these other leagues or whatever, baseball, I hate the Baseball Writers of America. They are the most self-righteous SOBs.
Yeah, they are.
SOBs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But because it's totally a big part of my issue with the Hall of Fame, many of these Hall of Fames, is there's no criteria.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball is strictly about who you like.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And it gets personal when it comes to the writers.
Think about this, honestly. Think about this. Mm-hmm. And I've heard me say this before. Now I sound like I'm going on a rant. That in Major League Baseball history, there has never been a unanimous player make it to the Hall of Fame until Mariano Rivera. Who didn't vote for Babe Ruth? As much as they laud Babe Ruth, who didn't vote for Babe? Who said Babe Ruth was not a first ballot Hall of Famer? Who said Hank Aaron was not a first ballot Hall of Famer? Who said Willie Mays was not a first ballot Hall of Famer? You should not be able to vote for the Hall of Fame if you say something stupid like that. Mm-hmm. That tells you a lot about the baseball writers. Is that, come on, it's like, stop. Mm-hmm. It really is. Even when you start getting into Pete Rose, when you start getting into Barry Bonds, when you start
Roger Clemens.
I remember one time
McGuire, all those guys.
I mean, McGuire. For me, most of the baseball writers are a bunch of cats who couldn't play baseball, so now they can critique it. Mm-hmm. And so now they're the gatekeepers to getting into the Hall of Fame. So they try to make you basically kiss their ass to get into the Hall of Fame. Right? Because if you weren't good with the media, you got a hard time making it into the Hall of Fame. It's like, come on, y'all, stop. Yep. It's about what they did on the field. And anybody that ever wants to have this conversation with me about steroids, we can. I'd love to have that conversation.
I thought you were going to say you love steroids. Oh. I love steroids. I was like, what?
But then that's the thing, D. The criteria, and getting back to Sweet Lou, the criteria that we have for the NBA, I'm sorry, it's not the NBA Hall of Fame, it's Basketball Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. Lou may have, this is one of those times where going directly to the pros may have hurt you. Had he gone to college and racked up some numbers and then come to the pros and do what he did, then his case would have been a lot better. Look at Grant Hill. Grant Hill had a good NBA career, but Grant Hill NBA career was not Hall of Fame worthy because he only did like 5 years really where he was like at his top. Once he had that
similar
injury,
to Bill Walton.
Bill Walton also.
Right. But it was college, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they used Bill Walton's college career. What he got? 3 championships in college.
3 championships in college.
3 college championships. Had 2 in the pros. So
did they ever lose while he was there? Isn't that when they were like had won?
I think that's when they ran him off with him.
2 in a row.
Yeah, I think they ran him off with him.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all about the criteria. Baseball, there is no criteria. It's like you said, it's whoever they like. Football does a good job of their vote because their vote is different. They get all the people in the one room at the same time, and that's where each person makes a case for the players that are eligible, and then they make a vote. And if it's not, if it's not, I don't know if it has to be unanimous or whatever, but they vote for them at that time, and either you're in or you're not.
I can't remember if it's unanimous. I know you got what is it? You have to have the one player, like you said. I don't want to repeat what you just said, but you got to have the spokesperson who gets up and makes the case, and then they vote. But I can't remember if it's unanimous.
I don't know if it's unanimous, but
I'll look it up.
But I do like how football does it. They don't rely on writers. It's people that played the game. And that's one of my biggest issues. Again, like D said, like you said, I don't want to read.
It's partly though. It's not just all of the players that play the game. There is some media involvement in it.
No. I'm saying it's different than all you have is media people that vote in baseball.
Okay. Okay.
It's the Baseball Writers Hall of Fame, which is stupid.
Mm-hmm. It says first the coach. Wait a minute. Okay, it says they must receive 80% of the vote.
Mm-hmm.
They must receive 80% affirmative vote of the players.
Okay, so you gotta get 80%. That's a big number.
Yeah. Says in order to be elected, a finalist must receive a minimum of 80% of the vote. Yeah, but I mean, baseball is 75% of the writers.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's close. But no, I like the fact, like you said, that the players are involved or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, them baseball writers annoy me.
So
they so self-righteous, man, and so give you an example. Go to steroids. So I remember, and I love the show. So I'm gonna give a shout out to Bob Ramsey in St. Louis because I used to listen to him all the time. But I called to the show one day because he was on there talking about how, talking about Babe Ruth. They talking about steroids, and he said, "Yeah, people said Babe Ruth, took a few drinks here and there." He says, "But steroids are illegal. They were, it's a violation of federal law." And I called into the show. And so he answered the phone. I said, I just wanted to call and make, comment about Bob Ramsey talking about Babe Ruth. And they said, oh, well, what's your comment? I said, well, I just want to let him know that Babe Ruth played during Prohibition. So having a little drink was a violation of federal law.
The law, yeah.
And he told me, oh, hold on. And then they never came back.
Still holding.
Whoever the producer was that answered the phone just left me on the phone till I hung up. Yeah. So I'm like, they don't. Again, and again, like I said, I love Bob Ramsey. I really do. Really, really good. I love what he does for SLU when he does play for SLU as a, hopefully eventually a SLU PhD graduate sometime soon. But yeah, so yeah, I hate that self-righteous stuff, man. I really do. So
all right, so we talked about Lou Williams. Let me run a couple of more by you, D and dudes. Tell me what y'all think. Hall of Fame worthy? It's either yes or no. Okay,
thumbs up or thumbs down.
Yes or no, up or down.
We can't. We're very long-winded, so that's kind of impossible.
Yes or no. College football, Les Miles. That's not yes or no.
I'm thinking.
That's not yes or no. I think dude's gotta get. I don't know what dude's got. What you got, bro?
I don't know what I got.
Okay, can I have a can I have a question?
Yes, I know, man.
Can I have a question?
Okay, go ahead.
Question. do the vacated games count against him?
So
Because
you have to go by what his actual record says, his official record. And the official record has those vacated games in there. So yes, the vacated games are part of his history.
So he has the 60% that you need. You need, in order to be eligible, you need a 60% winning percentage. So if he has that 60% winning percentage, yes.
Oh, yes.
Dude.
I would say yes. I mean, like you said, the 37 vacated games, you know, he did win them. So yeah. I mean, they were taken away, but he did win them. I mean, he earned it.
And if you think that Les Miles was the only one playing with ineligible players, you crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's true. That's true. And based off of that, I'm gonna give him a thumbs up. All right, we have in baseball. Baseball. Gary Sheffield.
Yeah, I like Sheffield.
Is he Hall of Fame worthy?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe he is.
Sheffield has the stats. He is deserving of the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this last one,
we
talked about him last week.
Yes.
Robert Huggins, aka Bob Huggins.
He's already in the Hall of Fame.
He is in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But does he deserve to still be in the Hall of Fame based off of his recent transgressions?
Yeah.
Hey, you could be more than one thing.
Right. So, you can be stupid and a good coach.
You can be stupid and a Hall of Fame coach. I mean,
so
that's the self-righteous stuff Dorian was talking about.
They're not mutually exclusive.
on that point, the Hall of Fames, again, we were talking about criteria. It's supposed to be about the criteria on the field. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't have anything to do with what you do off the field. That's why P. Rose is based on his on-field accolades, is deserving of being in Baseball Hall of Fame. There should not be a Hall of Fame without P. Rose. However, you do have to mention, you do need to mention the fact that, you know, the allegations that are against him. But he's still deserving of a bus.
I don't think you need to mention it. I mean, he earned it.
But at the same time, and I feel where you're going with that, dudes. But at the same time, that's what's part of his fame, is the fact that he was the hits leader, all-time hits leader, and he did this heinous, you know, as far as baseball is concerned, he committed this heinous crime. You know, again, so steroids, baseball. Mm-hmm. If you want to talk about Barry Bonds, first of all, Barry Bonds, before y'all even thought, and y'all was saying dumb stuff like his head got bigger from steroids. Okay. No, he just had a curl, and you didn't know how big his head was until he cut it all off. But anyway, he won 4 MVPs.
I resemble that statement.
He won 4 MVPs. Before any of that kind of stuff was going on. He won 4 MVPs. You got to think about the fact, one, I don't care how strong you are. That ain't got nothing to do with you hitting a baseball. Mm-hmm. Nothing. Bruh, I went to a San Francisco. You know, Barry Bonds, my all-time favorite player. I got my Barry Bonds rookie card.
Are you actually pulling out your rookie card?
Yeah, I got
Barry Bonds rookie card. Hold on. Wait. Is that mint condition, bro?
Yeah, it's still.
We need to hawk that. We need to hawk that. Let's go. We can all retire.
Yeah, man, it's still in the case. Yeah.
I like the way he put the picture up and he smiled next to it, like.
It's clear. I don't know how much it ain't topped, so I don't know how much it's worth. But anyway, so again, Barry Bonds fan. But still, I think about it this way. This is why I tell people too. Think about Jason Giambi and Jeremy Giambi. Mm-hmm. Jeremy Giambi took steroids too. He couldn't hit a beach ball with an ironing board. But Jason Giambi, his brother, took steroids and won the MVP. Mm-hmm. Most of the people that took steroids was in the minor leagues, and they were pitchers. So It's like, come on. It's like, come on, y'all. If that was the case, if taking steroids all of a sudden made you a Hall of Fame baseball player, think of how many more players would really be in the Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
True.
So it's like, man, stop with that self-righteous nonsense. Okay, I'm sorry. My rant is over.
But you're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go from current should be Hall of Famers to someone that is considered a future Hall of Famer. Ain't played the first game yet, but they already got him in the Hall of Fame. And that is
who that is?
One Victor Wembanyama.
Wemby.
NBA.
Wemby.
So these social media is at it again.
I hate the internet. Except for the people that watch this show.
But make sure you say that again. Tell the people you hate.
Except for the people that watch this show. We love y'all. But other than that, hate the internet.
Exactly. Because why? Victor got drafted by San Antonio Spurs. Should have been the Detroit Pistons, but that's another subject. And then went down to San Antonio to do photo ops and to meet the coaches, and he met some of the all-time great San Antonio Spurs, kissing babies along the way. But one of the things that he did when he was there, he just started shooting around at the rim. And of course, because it's Victor, he's number one player, cameras all around, and everybody posting on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all that good stuff. And Victor just had a bad day. He wasn't hitting.
It's happened to all of us.
Already, they calling Victor a bust. He didn't even play the game yet. So you got one talking heads saying that he's in the Hall of Fame already, and then you got the other talking heads that say, "Oh, he a bust because he missing from jump shots in street clothes." What say you, dudes?
I'm still in the wait and see mode. As usual with me and rookies, it's hard to tell based on the time before the NBA or before the pros. You have to actually see them in game action. See them out there. Playing against grown men.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a big difference. Playing against NBA talent. Big league talent. Than playing in the little minor leagues or even, playing in college ball. So once you see, how he plays, once he's mixing it up with grown men, then we'll be able to, give some kind of evaluation on, whether he's going to be the next, one. But I think it'll take a minute. I don't think he's going to take over right away or anything like that. I think it'll take a couple of years. I mean, it did with Garnett, and it did with even Kobe.
Okay,
but with his body type, I'm not sure. I'm not comparing him to either one now. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying as far as developmental wise.
So I need either yes or no. Will he be a bust?
I think that one, like dude said, I think that remains.
Not too deep. Wait a minute. Hold up, I'm talking dude.
My bad.
Yes or no? Will he be a bust?
I refuse to answer that question.
On the grounds it might incriminate you?
On the grounds it might incriminate me.
Give me an answer, man. You gotta give me an answer. As it says right now, Friday, June 30th.
Yeah, and then we're not known for great predictions anyway.
Exactly.
So I guess I can't go ahead and go out on a limb. I'm going to say no. Thumbs down.
Ooh. Hold on. No, he's not a bust, or no, he is a bust.
Oh no, I don't think he's gonna be a bust. No.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Doran, what say you?
Let me preface my prediction here with the great thing about social media is it gives everybody a platform to voice their opinion. The worst thing about social media is it gives everybody a platform to voice their opinion. So with that, I say I hate the internet because come on, he wasn't. It's not like it was an NBA workout. He was just down there. It's been many a times where some of us in street clothes happened to walk past some basketballs at the gym and took a shot and it was broke. You know, where you just kind of messing around or whatever. This has nothing to do with him actually playing in an NBA game. You're literally seeing him in a shoot around. There have been times where I have been before in some of our games or when I played intramural or whatever, when we played in the summer leagues and that kind of stuff, where before the game, I was broke. I couldn't hit nothing. And then the game started and my shot was working.
Yeah, you're not loose or anything.
Right, whatever it is. So what happened means nothing. It means absolutely nothing to me. It's just a bunch of people who are trying to have something to say. A bunch of people who are trying to have clickbait to get them to come, look at their show. Like ours. Come look at ours. Come watch our show.
Click that button. Subscribe.
Yeah, hit that button. But anyway, that's what it is to me. So do I think he's going to be a bust? No. I don't think
he's a very skilled player. Like I said, we'll have to see, whether he's going to be an all-star or a superstar.
Yeah.
That remains to be seen. But he's a very skilled, tall player.
Yeah.
So I went to this event at Little Caesars Arena with the Pistons, right? And one of the things,
make a jump shot.
One of the things that we had to do was you get to shoot a NBA 3-pointer, an NBA 3-pointer, for little prizes or what have you.
We got any footage of this? There is no proof of this situation whatsoever, and we are happy there is no proof. Any video footage?
Because in street clothes, you just walk on the court and you got to shoot.
What time out? Why is Dorian laughing?
Because I already.
He know where it's going. He know where it's going. Man, I got out there. My arm was like this big. It was about 3 inches long. The ball was about 6 feet short from the rim. And y'all know me. Y'all know me.
Keep shooting.
Hey, give me that ball back.
Give it back for half an hour.
Give it back.
Sweating.
It took me 4 shots to hit the rim.
I can hear him now. Oh man,
give me that ball back. And the dude was like, "You only get 1 shot." I was like, you better give me that ball back. I say that to say this: I understand Victor's plight because if you're not warmed up, like you said, dudes, if you're not warmed up, you go out there and just start shooting, man. Your shot ain't gonna
you were a bust. You were a bust.
Oh, I ain't never a bust.
The milk's gone bad.
I ain't never a bust. But in the case of Victor Wembanyama, I'm rooting for the kid. I really am. And the reason I'm rooting for him is because the skill sets that he has, that we think he has, because again, he hasn't done it in the NBA yet. But if he can do half of the things that he did in NBA that he did in the last league, or whatever, I can't think of the name of the league. But anyway, if he can do half of the stuff, he's going to be a very good player. So I'm rooting for him, and I do not think that Victor's going to be a bust. But there's other busts from the NBA that we're going to talk about. One of them being James Harden.
Why's he a bust?
Because if he comes to the Knicks, man, I swear it's gonna be some problems. Some people gonna get cussed
the Knicks are a
out.
bust.
Some people gonna get cussed out. Do not allow James Harden to step foot in Madison Square Garden. But I digress. There's right now is the NBA. The NBA today was the first day of free agency. Last week we had the NBA draft. We talked about that. Different teams added different players. The Pistons kind of shook me. Don't know exactly what they're doing over there. And today, the Pistons made a trade with the Brooklyn Nets that made absolutely 0 sense whatsoever. The Pistons went into the offseason, went to free agency with $30 million to spend. And one of the players that they were looking at was Cam Johnson, who just happened to be with the with the Brooklyn Nets. So we got word the Pistons are making a trade with the Nets. So, of course, we all excited, thinking, oh, they're going to get Cam Johnson. They did no such thing. The Pistons traded for Joe Harris and 2 second-round draft picks. 2 second-round draft picks that start 5 years from now. In exchange for their $24 million a cap space. So the Nets got a trade exception, and they were able to sign Cam Johnson, who the Pistons thought they wanted to sign in the first place. So I'm not understanding anything that Troy Weaver is doing these last couple of weeks. So can y'all explain to me the purpose?
We don't know what he's doing either.
I'm looking at the headline. The headline from the Detroit Free Press says Joe Harris trade signals Detroit Pistons are punting on making big swing in free agency.
So here's the thing. Last week before the draft, Troy Weaver said he's out to he wants to go deep. He wants to get home runs.
He wants to go deep.
He wants to get, he doesn't want the bunt singles and the doubles and all that. He wants to go for the homers. He wants the big fly.
Wait a minute.
And then he commits to drafting Asur Thompson at number 5. Then he trades back into the first round to draft Sasser from Houston when you already have 4 other point guards. And now you trading all your cap space for Joe Harris and 2 second-round draft picks 5 years from now. It makes absolutely no sense, and the team is not going to be better. And it sucks because I got all my tickets for this year. I don't want to see Joe Harris. I don't want to see Joe Harris.
Hey,
So I digress.
He might light it up,
mean,
right?
That's just mean, right?
But here's the thing, though. D, you already have Bogdanovich. You got
Bogdanovich, yeah. So you got to shoot him.
What are you going to do with Bogey and Joe Harris? Although Joe Harris hadn't really played the last 3 years because he's been hurt.
No. And then when he played, he didn't play well last year when he came back.
He's lost his step. He was never a great defender.
Wonder why they traded for him. He ain't played in the last 3 years. Maybe they figured he got fresh legs.
They got to be fresh because he ain't played.
Right.
He ain't played. But anyway, that was one of the trades that went down. Last week during we also had another trade between Atlanta and Utah. Atlanta traded what's the boy name? Collins.
John Collins.
Yeah,
John Collins to Utah for a bunch of bags of peanuts and a couple of second-round draft picks also. But they did that in an effort to get rid of some of the salary cap. The thing about it, this year, a lot of trades are going down because teams are afraid of the new collective bargaining agreement.
Right.
In the new CBA, if you're on the second apron, that second tax threshold now, it is very prohibitive. So you can't really do a whole lot. You can't make any trades. You can't make any free agent pickups. You can't do anything. So teams are trying to get below that number in order to first save money, as always, but second to give yourself a little bit of flexibility in order to do some stuff. So that's why they're making these trades. John Collins was making like $30 million a year, but he's not giving you $30 million of production. Maybe he will again when he gets to Utah. Who knows? But that was one of the trades that went down. What do you
Danny Ainge has a good track record though.
Mm-hmm.
This is really reminiscent of what he did in Boston. when he first got to Boston. And so he seems to be doing the same thing. Danny Ainge comes in. Danny Ainge making moves. Bringing in Quinn Snyder last year. And now, some other moves that he's trying to make. Again, I think, he thinks John Collins hopefully can get back to the form he had before. For Atlanta, it's a salary dump. But I wonder, what does this mean for Trae Young in Atlanta?
Yeah,
and DeJounte Murray. I wonder, by you getting rid of John Collins, because now all you got is you got Murray, you got Trae Young, and you got the center.
I saw earlier they had some rumors for Murray too, so I don't know how that's going to work out.
Well, if you look at Atlanta's team, the makeup of their team, that team doesn't mesh very well.
No.
You had John Collins, who was a 4 that all he did was shoot threes. This past year, he used to 2 years ago when he averaged 20, he averaged 20 points. Yeah, he was a finisher.
Big
then
finisher.
all of a sudden, they pushed him out to the 3-point line, telling him, "Hey, this is where you stay. You shoot these threes." But yeah, he can make them, but he's not a 3-point shooter.
Yeah. Well, what I kind of saw was with him, Trae was doing a lot of shooting, and they were kind of like freezing him out. So I would see him, down low calling for the ball, and they Trae jack up a 40-footer or whatever, and he'd be asking him to throw the oop or whatever, and Trae jack up another 30-footer or whatever, like that. So
yeah, so maybe it's fresh.
I think that was part of it. Yeah,
but like you said, Danny Ainge got a talented. I mean, he's only 24, 25 years old still.
Right.
Yeah, he's a young talent for Rudy Gay in a 2nd-round draft pick.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So that was a very shrewd trade by Danny Ainge.
Ainge is known for stockpiling draft picks too. So
So you gave up a 2nd-round draft pick to get John Collins, which the Pistons could have done that. They had $30 million in cap space, and they got Joe Harris.
Jumping Joe Harris.
So, and the thing is, the Pistons need a 4. That's their issue. They don't have a 4. John Collins can be that 4.
The Pistons got like a million wings. 6'6" players, 6'5" players,
and can't none of them shoot. And can't none of them shoot.
Except Bogey. Was that Bogdanovich?
No, what they have, they got
John Collins was only 25. He'll be 26 on his birthday in September.
They got 5. They got 5. The Pistons got 5 centers, dudes. And trying to play them all at the same time.
So we got Cade Cunningham.
So, so another trade that went down was the trade with Golden State with Chris Paul. Chris Paul going from Washington to Golden State for what's your boy name?
Jordan Poole.
Which allowed now Draymond opted out of his contract, and guess what Draymond did? Jordan Poole gone. He re-signed for 4 years, $102 million with Golden State.
With a player option year 4.
So player option for year 4. So they're going to bring back a pretty decent team. They still have no one that can guard the Joker, and that's going to be a problem for them.
Yeah, they still need some size. Yes,
they got to get some size. Got to get some size. The only size you have is Kevon Looney, but Looney can't do anything with Joker.
He's not fleet enough of foot.
Exactly. But I don't think they have anybody other than him that's even over 6'9".
No, Kuminga, I think. How tall is Kuminga?
Or is it
like 6'7"?
Yeah, Kuminga like 6'7". Moody was only like 6'7".
Yeah,
So I don't know what they're gonna do in that respect, but they have a great 3-guard offense with
3-guard
with Steph,
rotation,
Clay, and Chris Paul. I mean, that's just gonna be wonderful. It was funny because Chris Paul and Steph and Clay.
They got Kuminga 6'8".
They got him at 6'8"? Okay.
Yeah, on Basketball Reference, they have him at 6'8".
But Chris Paul had beef with Steph and with Clay.
Well, I mean, it actually goes. I mean, actually, it goes back to that. He had, NBA beef, as far as them being his rivals and them competing. But Steph came up. Chris Paul was a mentor to Steph, because Steph came up in Charlotte, and Chris Paul, his history or whatever, back in Charlotte. So they were, they really got a friendship, and even Draymond was speaking on that on the podcast. He was like, back. I think this is back last year, whatever. He said he didn't like the fact that he felt Chris Paul was like doing like Jordan used to do, like be friend. Hey, yeah, we're friends going way back, and then try to stick the knife in you, when you play, and try to do little cheap things. So, but yeah, they have a history that goes beyond the NBA. But yeah, they're rivals. I mean, Chris Paul been trying to get over that hump for the longest, even with the Clippers and then with the Rockets. So
hey, Steph was wiping the floor with him. One of Steph's greatest highlights. Yes, one of the greatest highlights was one against Chris Paul.
Yeah,
but
he dropped my boy.
At the end of the day,
that was sad.
Hey, when you're on another team, I hate you, but when you're on my team, oh, we straight. And that's what it's probably gonna be. They're gonna be a very competitive team. They're gonna win a lot of games. But I don't know if they're going to be great in the playoffs because playoffs the games change. You gotta have.
I think something was broken there. I mean, everybody tried to put it on Jordan Poole, but something's not. It's not the same. You see how they struggled at home, and I mean not at home, excuse me, but on the road. On the road, yeah, they struggled on the road, and I think something's a little off kilter. I think a lot of it might be Clay, not being the defender that he once was. He's starting to get the shooting back, but he was a Class A defender before.
Right, but when you go from an Achilles and then or from a knee, then right to an Achilles, that's hard. That's hard to come back from. But for me, watching them, what I really noticed is that they no longer had a defensive presence the way that they had in the earlier years. And Draymond is essentially, he's never really been, although people try to say it, he's never been somebody that you just put, I'm not going to just put Draymond on Kawhi Leonard and say, go stop him. I'm not going to put Draymond on Paul George. Go stop him. He's not that kind of player. You do that with Wiggins. You do that with the old Clay, so on and so forth. He's more the quarterback, the better help defender, so on and so forth. But one of the things that Golden State always had in those years that they were winning, they had size. Whether it was Bogut or whoever it was that they had, they always
McGee
they always had some size.
Even Kevin Durant to some extent.
Right. They don't have any of that anymore, and that's what's really hurting them, and that's what hurt them in the playoffs is that they didn't have any kind of defense to deal with. They didn't have any bigs or whatever on defense, and I think that's the problem. If they can get some bigs, some serviceable bigs, you know what I'm saying? You can't just be anybody, I think they'll be okay.
They need to get JaVale McGee back.
Yeah, they do need to get JaVale back. I said that a long time ago.
Yeah, he played his role great.
He's a good finisher and a good shot blocker. I mean, that's all you need.
You're not coming in there. You're not coming in there just getting your shot off. JaVale McGee
long and rangy.
Long arms, man. He gonna knock him out that shot. Another player they can maybe go after is Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard's looking for a job.
He finally got himself accustomed to just being a defensive player, just a rebounder and running the floor. He didn't have to come in and have the offense going through him like he thought. Once he figured that out, he
was a much better player.
Maybe they could get Ben Simmons.
No.
I'm gonna need you to quit. I'm gonna need you to quit. Shots fired. Pew, pew, pew. Anyway, Golden State is going to make some more moves. They're going to have to in order to compete for that champ. Because at the end of the day, teams like Golden State, the Lakers, Phoenix, it doesn't. All they want to do is win the championship. Phoenix they're going to have some issues. Phoenix is capped out because they made a trade with Washington and they got Bradley Beal. And with that, now they have 5 players under contract and $170 million for them 5 players. And the salary cap is $165 million. The second threshold is $165 million. So they already over the second threshold with 5 players.
Wow, Derrick Rose went to Memphis.
Say it again.
D Rose went to Memphis.
Oh, did he? That's
Like I said, it's a 9 p.m.
breaking news. Go D Rose. Okay. D Rose is one of my favorite players. But anyway, we'll get to him. Phoenix, they need players. They're gonna. I don't know how well the 4 players that they have and DeAndre Ayton is gonna be with a bunch of veteran minimum players.
Phoenix still got Josh Okogie. He's staying with the Suns.
Oh, so now they got 6 players under contract.
And free agent is it Shemazie Metu? He agreed to a 1-year deal with the Suns. And Drew Eubanks is gonna sign with the Suns.
Well, I was thinking we go to the Suns game and we could get a front row seat on the bench.
Keita Bates-Diop has also agreed to join the Suns.
Oh yeah, they need him.
So that's 9 players.
They almost got a team now.
Yeah, they definitely need him.
And those other 4 players you just named don't average all 6 points.
And combined. Yuta Watanabe is going to the Suns too.
That's the guy from the Nets, right?
And Damian Lee is re-signing with the Suns.
Oh, they're gonna keep Damian Lee. Okay. Oh, so they doing their thing. Go Phoenix.
Okay, so just to throw that in. I know just to not to get into too much free agency because it's still a lot to go. But hey, Phoenix gonna have a team.
They're gonna have a team now. They're gonna have a team.
Well, yeah, they eventually score at least by 10 points.
So with those signings, I'm gonna assume that James Harden and Kyrie Irving, who signed earlier, are not gonna be in Phoenix. Detroit just made a trade for Monte Morris. Who did they send out?
Okay. Who was that?
Who did they send out? Monte Morris, who played for Washington last year. Mm-hmm. So now so not only did they trade for a shooting guard earlier, now they trade for another point guard, of which they already have 5. So I don't know.
Can't get too many of them.
I don't know what the Pistons gonna do, but hey, it is what it is with them, man. We gonna have 5. They're gonna have 5 centers and 5 point guards playing.
Hey, D. Ryder find out what they're doing before we will.
Right.
You'll find out before we will.
Yeah. I lost my. But anyway, getting back to Westbrook, dudes asked a question. Why is it that Kyrie, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook, why are they not as sought after players as they should be, considering they're all future Hall of Famers? Now, Kyrie did sign with Dallas, which was a huge overpay. He signed with them earlier, but nobody else wanted to attempt to sign Kyrie, especially at the number that Dallas signed him for. So why did Dallas even do that? But dudes, why are these players not highly sought after?
Because he's trying to put butts in the seats. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I think with Kyrie, like I said, Kyrie is one of my favorite players to watch play. And he should, probably be one of the highest paid players for sure in the NBA. But of course, due to his off the court issues and couple questionable choices that he made. We'll leave it at that. You know, when he was in New Jersey, you know, he left and was gone for 2 weeks or whatever, and nobody knew where he was, and you know, so
when he at the barbecue.
Yeah, well, he was at his sister's birthday party.
Birthday party, okay.
Yeah. He went to a 2-week birthday party, but so I mean, you know, he put himself in this position right now to where teams can't truly trust him to show up all the time,
right?
Or you know, he'll do some strange things from here, you know, every now and then. So right. he put himself in that position, and teams just don't really trust him, you know, to give him that money, to give him that max deal when you don't know if he's going to show up to work. So right. I definitely understand that. If it was my money, I'd feel the same way, even though, like I said, he's my favorite player to watch. Mm-hmm. James Harden, I mean, it's really rough with him because as good as he is, as great as he is offensively, you know, offensively especially, he's given up on. Yeah, he's given up on a couple teams. You know, he gave up on you know, he had the success in Houston, and he gave up on them, and you know, went fat for, you know, however many weeks. Some of us have that problem more than others here on this podcast, but you know, we won't get into that.
Stop talking about Doran. Stop talking about Doran.
He went fat.
Yeah, he went fat and kind of ate his way out of Houston, and he went to New Jersey, and you know, he kind of wanted to leave out. You know, he quit on those guys and left. Right. And so, and you know, he can't really be counted for. Then, not to mention, you know, his playoff. What do you want to call them? Flame outs. You know, he just like this year, for instance, you know, against Boston, he had those flame ons where he had like 45 points. But you know, his highs are great, and you know, with those highs, they're winning. But his lows are so bad that the team just can't, you know, they can't recover from. Mm-hmm. You know, when you have like 6-point games or 12, 13-point games, you know, coming from a 45-point game, and then also, you know, you're the primary ball handler, and the ball is in his hand all the time. So they definitely can't afford for him to score 6 points, and you got the ball, you're controlling the whole game.
Right.
So that's it with him. And then of course, Russ, I think the time in LA really hurt him. You know, playing with LeBron, that's a challenge because, you know, you have to be able to play without the basketball, which definitely isn't Russell's strong suit. And that was really a big challenge, you know, even though that's no excuse for him shooting those jump shots off the side of the backboard and off the back of the backboard and off little kids' face in stands and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's on him. But he did come back and redeem himself in the Clippers. And one thing about Russ is going to play hard. He's going to play harder than anybody. And he's going to show up every day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, you know, give him some credit for that. But, I mean, it remains to be seen, you know, if anybody's going to pay for him. It doesn't look like they're going to really throw out that money. But then again, like you said, Dallas went ahead and threw the money at Kyrie. And Philly even paid Harden, you know, not the maxes that they wanted.
Right.
But, yeah. But the fact is, they all are not sought after players, you know, even though they're stars and definitely Hall of Famers.
Right.
A lot left in the tank.
So with Harden saw
go to the Knicks, right?
First off, Harden realized that, you know, he kept trying to use Houston. He kept trying to use Houston as a bargaining chip. Mm-hmm. He was using Houston as a bargaining chip, thinking that Philly was going to cave in and go ahead and give him that max contract, paying him $50 million a year. But what he realized is that Houston really did not want Harden to come play with those young fellas, and especially not pay him no $50 million. So he overplayed his hand way too much. So his only option was he can either opt out and not get that $38 million that he was guaranteed, not knowing what kind of contract he was trying to get, because a lot of teams that I was hearing was just trying to offer him the mid-level exception. It was like $15 million. And of course, he didn't want to play that. That's beneath him, even though it's $15 million. But anyway,
$15 million.
but anyway, so he overplayed his hand.
It's definitely not beneath us.
My thing is, I
play for $15 million.
give me a couple, bruh. Man,
I play for $15 at this point.
Hey, right now you can get a good 3 minutes.
Right.
But let me warm up first, because I don't want to be missing around by
$15.
It was a joke there, but I'm gonna let that go.
But yeah, but with Harden, he like I said, he overplayed his hand. So now he's trying to dictate a trade. And I've been seeing all these crazy trade rumors trying to get Harden, right?
Like to the Knicks.
Like to the Knicks. There is no way I'm giving up RJ, RJ, Grimes, and 3 first-round draft picks for James Harden. Are you crazy?
No.
I'm not giving you 15 cents for James Harden. First off, what's his name? Thibodeau won't even play him because he don't play no defense. So why in the world would you even consider getting a player that don't play defense and take the ball out of our best player's hand, and that's Brunson? Jalen Brunson was by far, he should have been at minimum second team All NBA this year. He got screwed just like the Pistons got screwed with Wembanyama. But anyway, so you gonna try to take the ball out of Jalen Ramsey, out of Jalen Brunson's hand and give it to James Harden? Man, bruh, look, I'm calm right now. But if they even do that, bro, it's gonna be some problems. But Kyrie got his money. I don't know how, because there was nobody else that was even attempting to pay him that money. But he got his money. Kyrie he got a rabbit's foot in his pocket or something, because he like Teflon Don. You know, he can do whatever.
He always lands on his feet.
Right.
Better yet, he like 45. He can say whatever he want to, but at the end, he's still gonna get paid. I don't understand it, but hey, it happened. And as far as Westbrook is the one that I think should actually have the. You know what? I wouldn't mind Westbrook with the Knicks.
He play hard for the Knicks.
Like I said, Westbrook gonna give his heart each and every game, and that's all you can ask for him. If you know his limitations, you know he can't shoot. But that's 90% of the players in the league right now anyway. So, but he gonna play defense. He gonna push the ball each and every chance. He gonna pass the ball.
And he's gonna turn it over.
Just don't shoot. He gonna turn it over at least 10 times a game.
At warp speed.
So that's just one of the things you have to accept with Westbrook. But he's deserving of a starting position with somebody. Yeah. And I do hope that he goes back to the Clippers, because they had a good thing going with the Clippers.
Yeah, they look good.
Doran?
Well, for Harden, I wouldn't want Harden because Harden is looking to go to a contender. He ain't, I don't know why he tried to use Houston as leverage, but he wants to win a ring, right? But if I'm a championship team, if I'm a team that's going to be a contender, I don't want James Harden, because I just cannot figure out why it is that he nuts up during the playoffs.
Each and every year.
When you need him the most, he nuts up all the time. And again, it doesn't take away from what he's done in the regular season. It doesn't take away from him being a great player. But dude, when we need you the most, you do not show up. So that, for me, I wouldn't want James Harden. Kyrie, I'm with dudes. I love Kyrie. I love watching Kyrie play. I don't know why he re-signed with Dallas, only because I don't see, after watching them last year, I don't know how him and Luka are gonna work together.
I know why. It's $126 million.
Exactly.
Right,
and nobody else was willing to pay it.
Right, nobody else is willing to get right. But for Dallas, it's like how are you gonna get the two of these dudes to play together? And who else are you going to get to play with them?
That's the important part right there.
If all that they're going to do, like I said, that one game, we talked about this before, but that one game that I saw them, the second or third game that they were together, because they was putting them on TV, and at the end of the game, they were so busy passing the ball back and forth to each other that they number one didn't get a shot off at the end of the game, and all the other players was just kind of standing around watching them. And I'm like, okay, if this is indicative of the way that they're going to play together, I don't know if I want that. So if I'm Dallas, I wouldn't have re-signed Kyrie. I think his talent is why he's, the Teflon Don or whatever, why he's like 45, because you can't deny that if he's on your team, not to quote Stephen A, but he's box office.
Mm-hmm.
You want to watch this dude play every time. You also know that he can contribute to you winning, as we saw in Cleveland. Right? Mm-hmm. It's just later on we saw him, for whatever it is, kind of lose his mind, so to speak. And Westbrook, I've been a Westbrook fan since he came into the league. I've always liked Westbrook. I said when he first came in with Oklahoma City, I said, man, with him, Harden, and KD, I was like, if Westbrook could learn at that point when he's rookie to be a point guard, Oklahoma City was going to be unstoppable. But he never learned to slow down, as Shaq tried to tell him during one of the games. Hey, man, just slow down. You always trying to go 100 miles an hour. But I love him for his effort. I love him for his heart. And I would pick him up on my team. He'd always have a spot on my team at a certain point. Again, but I'm just not going to put him in those positions where he has to shoot. When he's in the game, I want you to play defense, and I want you driving to the goal and kick it. That's what I want you to do. So that's how I kind of feel about those three. But I'm still a Westbrook fan, and again, I think that he works best. I'm with y'all. I think he works best with the Clippers. I thought they had a good thing going, so hopefully, they'll pick him back up. They waiting a little bit to see what's going on, but hopefully they'll pick him back up. But somebody will pick Russ up.
Oh, Russ gonna play. Gonna play. But yeah, you made the point about Kyrie and Luka. I saw that game, D, that you were talking about when they were passing the ball back and forth, and then Kyrie dribbled it off his foot and turned it over, and they never got a shot off.
Right.
But that was the last play. But the other plays prior to that, it was just like, here you shoot, here you shoot, here you shoot, here you shoot. And that's all they did. So, and all the other players are just standing there watching.
Like one of y'all shoot it.
Watching each players shoot.
Please, hurry up and shoot.
And then what did you get? At the end of the season, they were like 5-20 with Kyrie in the game. With Kyrie and Luka playing together. So I don't know how that's going to work. I
think some of it was on Kidd too. They weren't playing. Kidd didn't play JaVale McGee. He didn't play Christian Wood.
Now, why
both of those guys could have really helped that team?
I don't understand it. You play Powell.
Yeah, Powell and what's the other guy? I can't think of his name. Kleber Powell, and I think Kleber was hurt.
You played Maxi Kleber, but then they traded him.
Yeah,
right.
So, but that's those three. There's another Hall of Fame player, future Hall of Famer, I'm sorry, as we should say, out in the Northwest by the name of Damian Lillard. So Dame, one of the things that Dame said that he wanted Portland to show that they were committed to winning now and not, just trying to tank for the future, so to speak. So they had a meeting with Dame. Portland had a meeting with Dame this past week, and Dame voiced his choices also. what he wanted to happen also. But he did not request a trade at that time. So since then, today, Portland re-signed Jeremy Grant. What was it? 5-year, 100 and what?
4 years? No, 160 mil.
5-year, 160 mil.
They signed him for 5 year, 160 million.
So that's in an effort to try to keep Dame. But here's the question. We get on a lot of players for requesting to be traded and wanting to move teams. But do you think it's time for Dame to actually be moved? And if so, where should he go? Dudes?
Well,
Doran?
Well, I was just gonna say, I think at this point in his career, it's up to him. If he wants to be traded, then he has earned the right to come, and he's played with you all these years. He's kept saying he didn't want to go anywhere. You traded everybody around, and he still never left. You never brought him a winner, and he still hasn't left. And so, if at this point he feels like, hey, man, I'm at the end of my career. I got a few, good years left. I would really like to, go to a contender. And if he comes in and says that to you, then I think you go ahead and do it. Why not? Because at a certain point, either you're, if again, I don't know, because you haven't done anything to give him a reason to stay.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't done anything. When was the last time Portland made the playoffs? And if they did, have they made it anything other than through the playoff game or whatever?
Well, they made it a couple of years ago, but they didn't do anything when they got there. So
yeah, so I mean, give him the opportunity. If he wants to trade, then give him the trade. If he doesn't want to trade, then build around him. Try to give him something to help him win. But if you're not trying to win, then I think you need to give him the opportunity to go. You can't. To me, I don't think you can say that you're trying to win and you draft the exact same player in the draft. It's like with quarterbacks. When Aaron Rodgers got mad because they drafted Jordan Love, or that kind of thing. You're not trying to win. You're looking to give this to Scoot Henderson, because you're not looking to win with Scoot as the player that you drafted. Now, again, not that Scoot's not good. I'm just talking about the fact that him and Dame are basically the same player.
Mm-hmm. D-Dub?
I think it's time for Dame to go. And, I think they're doing a disservice to Dame. Like Dorian said, they're not really trying to build and, give him the pieces that he needs. And they know they're not. They know they really, I say secretly want to rebuild with Scoot as a centerpiece, right. And then Jeremy Grant as the second fiddle. And right. I'd like to see Dame go ahead and go to, if I was him, I would go to Miami, But I got this thing with Miami and Florida anyway, so
right.
But yeah, I would. That's definitely where I would go. And then Pat Riley's down there. He's one of our favorites too. So I would go to Miami.
What about Philly?
I think. You said, what about who?
Philly.
Philly might be cool. I wouldn't go to Philly. No.
I mean, you could trade.
But
James
I mean, you got
Harden.
Joel Embiid down there. But I'm not a real big Embiid guy, because like I said, he's he plays like he's about 6'4".
Cry for the MVP.
Yeah. So yeah, and cry for the MVP. But I would go to Miami, and then hopefully Pat Riley has shown that he will build around players and stars. So he'll go out and get what the needed pieces, and then plus that's the Miami, the area is attraction. So you wouldn't have any problems getting players to come down there to play with them. Right. But yeah, I think it's time for Dame to go.
So you can always tell when Rodney thinking, when he got something he want to say. You can always look at his face.
Shut up. No, for me,
his little brain is getting hot.
for me, the best place for Dame Lillard to go would of course be the New York Knicks. He needs to come to the Garden with Dame and Brunson, and we'd have to give up RJ, I'm pretty sure.
So,
but you got
JR.
Listen.
Yeah, you talking about him as food.
Listen, it would be wonderful. However,
we sure it would.
However, I know that's not going to happen. I don't think Dame wants to come to New York. If he does come to New York City, if he does, he wants to go to Brooklyn. But I'm with you dudes with Dame Lillard in Miami with Bam Adebayo, and wow, you know what I'm talking about.
Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler. Bam, Jimmy Butler, and Dame. That would be a hell of a three-headed monster because you got your point guard, you got your small forward, and you got your center. Miami still needs, as proven this past playoffs when they went into the finals, they got to get some more size, man. Bam is only what, 6'9"?
Yeah.
They have to get size. Some way, shape, or form, they got to get some kind of size down in Miami. But if you put Dame on that team, that I would put them back in the finals right now with Dame on Miami. And he does need to leave. I mean, he should want to leave because he's not gonna win. If, again, go back to what Dorian said, if winning is the most important thing to him, he's not gonna win in Portland. He needs to just go ahead and say, hey, look, we tried this for 12 years. No, it's time for us to try something different. So, and then lastly, we talked about Wembanyama earlier,
Wemby,
and we all think that he's not a bust. San Antonio is going to build around Wembanyama, but the question is, does San Antonio need to pick up a key veteran that can mentor Wembanyama and help him get to fulfill his potential a lot faster?
I think so. Now, who I can't tell you.
Oh, dude, prognosticate, man. You know that's all we do.
I'm trying to think in my head who.
So,
I don't think so.
Paul is too old. Harden is, you can't do Harden.
I think with Pop, Duncan, the players that he can bring back, that Pop can bring in to actually mentor Wembanyama. Sorry. I don't necessarily think that they really have to go get some kind of free agent veteran or whatever, because for me, it would have to be somebody. You would have to get somebody that kind of has some kind of skills. I mean, when you talk about
that's what I mean. Somebody on the court.
Yeah, somebody on the court that has some type of skill set to be able to mentor him. Because from a mental standpoint, there's nothing that has given me the impression that he's anything but mature. He's already been playing pro ball for a number of years. So he understands that whole idea of pro ball. And, again, hearing him speak, there's nothing for me that really says that he needs some type of help to mature or anything of that nature. So I think skill-wise, I don't think that there's really any NBA vets that you could really bring in to really mentor him that way. And I think that the ones that they already have there that Pop could bring in, like I said, between David Robinson, between Tim Duncan, Bruce Bowen, all those kind of cats, I don't really think that you have to have one like that. I don't think that there are any more Udonis Haslams out there.
Now, what I'm trying to say is, I think, when you have those NBA dog days, January, February, when those losses mount, he's going to need somebody to, kind of pick him up, and build his spirits. Because, of course, they're going to look at him as what Shaq say, barbecue chicken.
Right.
So those the good veteran big men are going to be going at him night after night. So he's going to need his battery recharged, and I think on the court he's going to need some help, to help pick it up for those nights where he just don't have it because he's just beat up and beat down.
Okay. Good point.
Then so leadership on the court, along with somebody being able to help him carry the load on the court. Now, as far as being a big winner, that's going to take some time, like we all agreed upon.
Okay. So for me, I do think that he needs someone that can be there
Ben Simmons
to help him to help him on a daily. I hear what you're saying, D. Yeah, you got Tim Duncan that can come in. You got David Robinson that can come in. You got Sean Elliott that can come in. All of them, they even had a picture with them the other day that can come in and talk to him and try to help him. But there's a difference with having people that's come in and talk to you and people that's on your team that you see every day, that you practice with every day, that can help you out. I'm looking at San Antonio's roster. The only center that they have is Gorgie Dean. Oh, I'm sorry. And Kim Birch, who, he don't even play as it is. So they don't really have any big guys that can help him, show him, how physical the NBA game can be. Gorgie, he's been around for a long time. He's not the best player, but he has been in the league for like 8 years. So maybe that might be someone.
Now the other guy's pretty good. Keldon Johnson's pretty good with them.
But you know what? Keldon Johnson's still only 23 years old, though.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He's pretty good, but
so is he 23 or 24?
Guidance,
where is Keldon Johnson? I'm sorry, they got Zach Collins is a power forward. Keldon Johnson is 23 years old. Wow. Mm-hmm. It seems like he's been playing for like 50 years. So, but yeah, I think they need some kind of vet. I don't know who that vet would be.
Gorgie Dean been in the league. Gorgie been in the league 10 years.
Is it 10 years?
He came in 2013, 2014 with Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Okay. So maybe they have the veteran that he needs that can show him the ropes.
But he's not, the superstar caliber, or he's never been that. So I don't think he can really, provide that part to him.
But I am looking forward, again, like I said earlier, I am looking forward to watching him play.
Summer League.
Say again, D?
Summer League.
Yeah. You know what? I doubt if he plays in the Summer League. I doubt if he plays in the Summer League.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to play.
Because they don't want the same thing to happen to him to happen to Big White Boy last year from OKC.
Chet Walker.
Chet Holmgren. They don't want the same thing to happen to him because he is, a little on the thin side. Mm-hmm. Even though, see, the difference with him, he did play against grown men.
Mm-hmm. He played the pro league.
Yeah, he played in the pro league. So, maybe, he has a thin frame, but maybe he has, a muscular thin frame. I don't know.
He got some experience with dealing with a little grind,
Yeah, I don't know. So
maybe he's wiry.
Wiry?
He's wiry.
He's a quote my favorite
book. He's wiry.
So anyway, fellas, it's been a wonderful episode that we've had so far today. We want to thank each and every one of you that have tuned in. Please remember to click the like button, subscribe, follow, do all those things that you're supposed to do on social media.
Yeah, we get Dorian to sing "I Like It" by DeBarge if y'all hit the like button.
So if y'all press that subscribe button, Dorian gonna sing "I Like It." Give him a little taste right now, D.
I just did. You missed it.
I missed it. Oh, it was quick.
They gotta hit the like button first, right? Don't give them.
They gotta hit the like button first, right? We ain't seen nobody hit the like button.
They ain't hit the like button yet. Well, y'all heard that. Hit the like button. because we're gonna get D to do some stupid human tricks.
And it won't be a demo, but it will be a demonstration of his vocal prowess.
Right.
We're gonna need to do the stupid human tricks just because y'all subscribe. Tell your people, tell your friends, tell all your friends.
I thought he was gonna say tell your pastor.
Tell him too. We want the pastor to listen too. We want the pastor to listen too. But anyway, again, we thank each and every one of you for joining in. We really enjoy doing these sessions, talking about sports, as you can tell. So let your people know, man. Look, send us some questions. Go to our email address, which I don't even know what it is. Is Boogie Blaming?
Hate that name. I still hate that name.
No, that's the web address. What's it? Boogie Blaming?
BIOTB.
I'm typing it.
ODCAST.
That's supposed to be a period. Here you go. Add the banner. Hide that one.
MOUSC.
Showed out. There you go. boogieblaming@gmail.com. Drop us a line. Send us some questions. Send us some topics you want us to talk about. We'll put them into our show. Whatever it is you guys want to talk about, within reason. We ain't talking about no striptease artists going to.
That's like a podcast ago.
Yeah. We ain't gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. But give us a shout. Again, we really enjoy the time we spent with you guys, but we're so glad we had this time together. So for y'all, we gonna get sued. Hell, hey, if we ain't get sued from a couple of episodes ago, we ain't gonna get sued now.
It ain't gonna happen. Trust me.
We gonna get sued now. So hey, we hope you enjoyed it. But if you didn't, kiss it. And we out.
Don't blame it on sunshine. Don't blame it on the moonlight. Don't blame it on the good times. Blame it on the boogie. Don't blame it on the sunshine. Don't blame it on the moonlight. I don't blame it on the good times. Blame it on the boogie. Sunshine, sunshine, moonlight, moonlight, good times. Blame it on the boogie.